Alright everybody, since you're all so interested, I'm going to be walking out to the helicopter here, sitting on the dolly, pulled by a tractor, and I'll do a little walk around. I'll upload this to YouTube and then post it on our GroupMe so you guys can all see it. Just got to put some stuff away. Put my helmet. Maintenance logbook here. Alright, so we'll get started. I'm just going to walk around the whole helicopter and I'll talk about everything here. It's going to be a long video, but hopefully it'll answer a lot of the questions you guys have. So here's the cockpit. Got pilot seat and co-pilot seat over there. When we first fly out, one of the med crew flies out with me, just so we can have 4 eyes up front. And then when they get a patient, they go into the back, and I'll give you a look at that in just a moment. First things first, you see a yellow, what we call a sock on there. That indicates that something is plugged into the helicopter. As you can see, we have an extension cord plugged in here, and that charges all the medical equipment in the back of the helicopter. So that's what that is. Pretty standard setup here. We've got our standard instruments up here. Our altimeter shows us how high we are. Our attitude indicator, our vertical speed indicator, shows us whether we're increasing in altitude or decreasing. We have our radar altimeter here and a directional gyro here. Our airspeed indicator, another directional gyro. It's slave to the VOR. It's a technical term, Quinn will understand. 2 GPSs. We have a Garmin 530 and a Garmin 430, and they cross fill. So if I enter something into this one, it puts it in the bottom one as well. We have our VEMD, which I'm drawing a blanket. What it stands for, it's like a visual engine metering monitoring device, something like that, and that shows us what's going on with our engine, how much power we're pulling out of it and stuff. We've got our rotor RPM gauges here, and it also shows our engine RPMs as well. So behind this one white band, our pointer, there's also 2 other ones, so there's 3. We call it a triple tach, so it's our tachometer. And that shows how fast the blades are moving and how fast the engines are rotating as well. This shows us whether we're flying in trim or not, whether the tail is directly behind the aircraft. The ball will go back and forth like a level, and whichever direction the ball floats, that's the direction of the pedal you want to push. So you want to push the right pedal if it's on the right side, the left pedal if it's on the left side. Just a clock here, a backup attitude indicator, and then this is called a CAD. It's a caution advisory display. All of our warnings will pop up there, as well as a warning light system up here for major emergency procedures. Then we have the starting switches here. Engine 1 and Engine 2. Someone forgot to turn off the Fade X. That controls the fuel flow to the engines. So yeah, we'll start one engine, get it running, and then we'll start the other engine, get it running. We have our radio systems here, a transponder, which is what makes us pop up on air traffic control's radars. Our radio for the crew in the back. Our FM radio, which has very high frequency, ultra high frequency, and 800 frequencies. That gets us in contact with all the ground crews that set up our scene flights and such, like fire departments and everything. This is what controls my radio. It shows all the different setups that I can be broadcasting on. This indicates where I'm broadcasting. So right now it says FM1, that's using this radio. COM1 uses the GPS communications up here. COM2 uses the the second GPS here, and I can just click what I want to listen to. If I make them come out, that means I mute them all. So I want to listen to all three of those. And then this one is telling me which one I am actually talking to at the time. Air conditioner. And then this is a satellite phone. We have pre-programmed telephone numbers that it will call depending on which one it's located on. And lighting system. This just turns on lights up on the front. There's our collective, which we pull up and down on. All of our charts, maps, required things that we have in here. Sorry, I'll turn that. And then we go up top here. Got a rotor brake. This slows down the rotors when we finish flying, after we turn off the engines. Then we have all of our switches to turn on different things, different lights, different systems. They all get switched on and off up here. And then we have all of our circuit breakers back here. So all in all, it's a very, well, to you it probably looks complex, but it's actually quite simple when it's broken down. Alright, so that's the cockpit. We'll go back here to the back portion where the med crew sits. We got a seat, a rear facing seat here, a rear facing seat there, and then a forward facing seat here. Typically the med crew, when we're flying to and from places, will sit in these two seats, but if they need to assist a patient, someone will sit in that seat, and then someone will sit in this seat as they sit in the cot. Right here they lay down on this cot. All sorts of technical stuff in here: oxygen, ventilators, heart rate monitors, all sorts of things. I don't deal with any of this stuff. That's a drug bag. Don't get any ideas. But this is where they operate. So as you can tell, it's not that spacious. In fact, right here is where they bring the passengers through, and if they have too much of a girthy patient, then it can get a little bit crammed in there. Sometimes we have to turn down flights because the patient is too wide or too robust. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video because another aircraft started up, and I'll start another video afterwards, so it'll be a part 2. Okay, so that airplane's going away. It's a little bit quieter now. So we talked about what's in the back. I'm gonna go around the helicopter now. Down here in this side compartment here is where we keep our oxygen bottle. That's where we refill it. Up here is the inlet area for the intake for the first engine. This whole section here has one engine in it. And we open up all these different latches to check inside the engine. I won't do that, that'll take too much time. But we'll come back here. Here's the exhaust for that first engine. We'll come back to the tail here. This looks like the other tails that I had on the previous helicopters. This right here, this little bump here, is called the bumper. And basically that's just a final protection for the main fenestron here. That's what this is called, fenestron. This will buckle if it gets hit, but it will protect the overall casing here. So we have a vertical stabilizer and a horizontal stabilizer on both sides of the fenestron, and those just help us to keep control of the aircraft, keeping it moving forward. There's the exhaust for the second engine, and then these two right here are for the air conditioner. Coming under here, this is where all the magic happens. This is where they load and unload the patient. So I'll stand back here so you guys can get a big view of this. So that's what the helicopter looks like with the back clamshell doors open. patient goes right in here and gets taken care of. You can definitely see from this view how small the hole is. It really doesn't affect too many patients, just the obese ones. This box contains all of our blood and plasma. Alright, I'm going to put the phone down so I can close these doors real quick. Alright, moving along. This side of the helicopter looks just like the other side of the helicopter. We got our engine inside this area here with the transmission back here. Sorry, engine, transmission. This is the other sliding door. This is another view to the back. All the medical stuff in there. And then the other side of the cockpit over here. Now, Quinn talked about these extensions on the skids. The theory behind these is if there was a wire coming from down here and you didn't see it and you hit it, these would direct it up to this wire cutter here. It would slide in and hopefully get clipped there. There's also one on the top right there, which the windscreen would guide it up and into that and cut it away. Obviously that's the last ditch effort. Just a landing light. Underneath here we have a slewable searchlight, which when we want it to, it comes all the way down and I can direct it using a little thumb joystick and point it at anything. That's a good device to help us look for wires and such. Noisy airplane. Anyways, that's my helicopter. The blades, 4 blades, fully rigid system, which means that we don't have any excessive pulleys and levers to make the blades go up and down. We just have small pitch change links right there that just push the blade up and down. But everything else is absorbed in the blades themselves. They're very, very heavy and very expensive. Well, if you guys have any other questions, just feel free to ask after you watch this video. Hope everybody enjoys it.